Tolkien, a very influential writer from the 20th century. He fought in World War I, and thus he created this wonderful story that we've all come to know as The Lord of the Rings. So, there's these small instances of different languages in The Lord of the Rings, one of them being Elvish. Today we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into it. So, let's begin. So, where did Elvish come from? It is originally a mixture of Finnish, Welsh, and some Latin languages. But other than that, it's spoken mostly by, well, elves. Elves are not as prominent as you would think in The Lord of the Rings. Well, at least in the lore. The thing is that since we watch the story from the perspective of people who are actively in a conflict that's basically globe spanning, there are going to be elves, but your common folk is not going to really see much. There are, of course, many dialects for Elvish language, some of them being one that I can't name and the other which is called Quants something. We're gonna put it in subtitles, don't worry.
So, the composure of these languages can be summed up in these two ways. First, the Sindarin one, which uses more intricate vowel words and more syllables, while the Quenya uses more consonants, which makes it sound more angry and stronger.
Quenya is an ancient language. It was primarily used in writing, poetry, and rituals rather than everyday speech. Sindarin evolved as a more commonly spoken Elvish tongue, much like how Romance languages developed from Latin. Languages also reflect the history of the elves. Fun fact, Quenya once was dominant and fell out of common use due to political and cultural shifts. Elvish is deeply tied to their mythology, history, and sense of destiny, unlike the more practical languages of men. Elves use language as means of preserving their history. In Tolkien's mythology, the decline of Elvish languages mirrors the fading of Elven influence in Middle-earth, representing their struggle against time and external forces. The ability to speak Quenya or Sindarin marks one as part of an elite or ancient lineage, signifying status and cultural belonging.
Elvish is, of course, a language that takes center place in Tolkien's world. It mostly fleshes out great speeches between, well, of course, the elves, mostly given by none other than Galadriel, who got, of course, shamed and held back with the new series, but that's beside the point. It also helps out with conversations between someone like Legolas and Aragorn. So, yeah. Elvish is a very cool thing that just happened to, well, represent how influential Tolkien was and still is to this day and age. So, go watch or read Lord of the Rings. Do your homework.